You don't need to earn the right to touch wealth. You were born with it etched into your palms. Before you ever knew what money was. Before you ever looked at a price tag. Before you ever handed over a card. Your hands were already holy. They were not made to grasp from fear, or flinch in guilt, or tremble in the act of letting go. Your hands were made for blessing. You've been reaching, but not remembering. You've been paying, but not proclaiming. You've been surviving, but not sanctifying. The world trained you to touch money like it was dangerous, like it was fleeting, like it might punish you if you asked for too much. But listen closely. Money never held power over you. It only mirrored what you believed your touch was worth. And your touch is worth galaxies. You've touched bills with trembling fingers. You've handed over cash with breath held tight in your chest. You've watched digits disappear from screens, and thought the lack lived in the number. But the lack didn't come from what left. The lack came from how you touched. 'Cause the way you touch is the way you declare what you believe you deserve. Let your palms remember their purpose. Your fingertips are altars. Your palms are prophets. Your hands are holy vessels of circulation. Your reach is not desperation, it is dominion. Say this out loud. My hands are sacred. My touch is abundance. Feel the vibration of that. Let your own voice be the evidence. Let your own tone become your truth. Because something sacred shifts. When you stop touching money like it's survival, and start touching it like it's scripture. You are not a beggar. You are not a borrower. You are the blesser. You are not waiting for permission. You are remembering your position. Every time you touch a bill, you are speaking. Even when your lips are closed. Even when no one is watching. Your energy is the loudest voice in the room. You touch money with fear, it remembers fear. You touch money with guilt, it multiplies guilt. You touch money with holiness, it becomes holy again. What if every dollar was waiting for your hands to remind it of God? What if the currency you've been spending is only a reflection of the consciousness you've been touching it with? Let your hands remember the covenant. You were never meant to lose when you give. You were never meant to feel small when you spend. You were never meant to handle money like a burden. You were meant to hold it like a scroll. Every transaction is a prayer. Every payment is a decree. Every circulation is prophecy moving through your skin. Say this again. My hands are sacred. My touch is abundance. This is the moment your fingers let go of old scripts. This is where survival exits your fingertips. This is where generational memory gets rewritten. By how you pick up the next bill. Breathe. Let the world slow down. There is no rush in wealth. There is only remembrance. What if you paused just for a second, before every transaction, and whispered into your hands? You are not tools of labor. You are instruments of divine circulation. You'd feel the power return. You'd feel the atmosphere shift. You'd feel money stop being separate from God, and start becoming a mirror of your breath. There is no holiness in hoarding. There is no virtue in lack. There is no reward for withholding your truth at the altar of money. You were taught to touch wealth with trembling. Now you will touch it with trust. You were taught to only feel safe when holding it tight. Now you will feel safe when letting it go. Because your safety doesn't come from the bill. Comes from the belief behind the bill. And your belief has changed. Your frequency has changed. Your fingers now carry heaven's decree. Say this out loud. I no longer touch from fear. I touch from fullness. I touch as the one who already has. Let that truth sink in like oil. Let it anoint your spending. Your saving. Your circulating. Your asking. Your receiving. You don't touch to control the outcome. You touch to confirm who you are. And who you are is already wealthy. You don't touch to chase. You touch to command. And your command is backed by the vaults of the unseen. Every time your fingers meet currency, they remember who they are. They remember who you are. They remember the agreement made. Before you were born, you will not touch from scarcity. You will touch from sovereignty. Let the guilt dissolve. Let the hesitation melt. Let the old memories of too much and not enough Burn away like incense. You do not owe your trauma your touch. You do not owe your lack your loyalty. You do not owe guilt another grip on your money. Say this once more. My hands are sacred. My touch is abundance. And now feel it in your body. Feel it in the space between your fingers. Feel it in the pulse behind your palms. You are touching heaven. Every time you remember your worth. If you feel the holiness in your hands, type this in the comments right now. I touch wealth like it's holy. Not because you're trying to prove it, but because you finally remember it. You don't need a sign to know it's working. Your breath is the sign. Your peace is the proof. Your presence is the password. This is no longer about finance. It's about frequency. This is no longer about paper. It's about prophecy. And the prophecy has already been written. You will never again touch from fear. You will only touch from truth. This is how overflow begins. Right here. Right now. In your hands. They are altars. They are vessels. They are divine. You are the blessing they carry. You have been too quiet, but not at the right moments. You were loud in apology, soft in power, gentle in truth, but forceful in guilt. You were raised to hush your holy, to mute your knowing, to silence the part of you that wanted more, not because it was wrong, but because others were afraid of what it would mean if you actually received it. And so, you learned to let silence sit where your voice belonged. You let fear speak first. You let lack set the tone. You let generational memory speak through clenched teeth, and called it humility. But listen, lack does not arrive on its own. It is invited. When your voice is absent, you were never unworthy. You were unvoiced. You didn't lose the blessing. You just didn't speak it. There are atmospheres in your life that are still shaped by the silence of your younger self. She didn't know how to speak abundance, so she let shame speak for her. But today, you return to the table, and this time, you speak first. This is not just a financial shift. This is a vocal resurrection. Because silence is not always sacred. Sometimes it is self-abandonment, dressed in politeness. And you have abandoned yourself. At too many tables that claim to feed you. You've paid bills with silence. You've received with shame. You've touched your dreams with the tone of guilt, and wondered why they slipped away so fast. But let me ask you this. What if overflow was never far? What if it was just waiting for your voice to open the door? Say this out loud with your whole being. My voice prepares the atmosphere for overflow. Feel the truth of it vibrate through your chest. Your voice is not decoration. It is activation. Your whisper is enough. Your sound is sacred. Your breath, spoken with intention, is the lockpick of destiny. The silence you've been carrying was never protection. It was permission for lack to linger. But no more. You are not a guest at the table. You are the one who sets it. You no longer let fear fill your plate. You no longer let hesitation pour your drink. You no longer let generational trauma say the prayer. You speak first. You set the atmosphere. You clear the air. You declare what heaven already decided. Say it again. My voice prepares the atmosphere for overflow. Now breathe. This is the part where you stop asking if you're allowed. This is the part where you stop waiting for confirmation. This is the part where you stop letting money sense your uncertainty. You are not timid. You are not small. You are not background music to someone else's miracle. You are the sound that wealth recognizes. You are the frequency that opens the vault. You are the decree that breaks the cycle. Your silence was never noble. Was never divine. It was simply the echo of a version of you that forgot her sound was holy. But that version of you is being laid to rest today. Speak like you've been chosen. Speak like lack was a lie you no longer repeat. Speak like heaven already said yes. Because it did. Every time you speak with power, you reclaim territory. You realign timelines. You rewrite karmic contracts that once convinced your bloodline to settle. Say this aloud now. I no longer let silence carry my power. I speak before I spend. I speak before I sow. I speak before I open the door. I speak, and the universe listens. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to shout. But you do have to speak. Even a whisper, when laced in knowing, can part the seas. Do you hear that? That trembling in your chest. That's not fear. That's the sound of your voice, remembering its name. You are not just a body. You are a sound wave from the divine. Money responds to memory. And your voice is the memory of heaven's covenant. Silence might have been your shield, but it's no longer your source. You no longer eat last. You no longer speak last. You no longer let guilt write your grocery list. You no longer let generational shame tell you how much is too much. You are not bargaining. You are building. You are not surviving. You are speaking supply into the room. Say it again. My voice prepares the atmosphere for overflow. And say it again. Not because spirit didn't hear you, but because you did. Every time you speak from your I am, the walls remember your name. The bills feel your vibration. The room shifts. The silence that once let lack live here is being evicted. You do not owe silence your loyalty. You do not owe smallness your sound. Your mouth was made to move reality. This is not drama. This is destiny. You were not sent here to agree with the absence. You were sent to speak the presence. You were not sent to echo fear. You were sent to reverberate truth. And truth sounds like this. I will never be voiceless again. I will never enter another moment of circulation without preparing the air with my decree. If this opened your silence, type this in the comments right now. I speak before I spend. Let the universe know you're not bargaining anymore. Let the atmosphere know it has changed ownership. Let your lineage know the vow of quiet lack has been broken. Because from this moment forward, your voice is your altar. Your decree is your protection. Your sound is your security. And your silence has been baptized into something sacred. You speak now. You declare now. You release now. The table no longer feels like pressure. Feels like power. You are finally home in your sound. The paper is not heavy. The number does not weigh you down. It is the memory beneath the number that makes your heart sink. That bill in your hand is just ink and paper. But what you see is not what's printed. It is what was planted. Planted by moments when money left too soon. By voices that told you you were always one mistake away from nothing. By eyes that judged your worth through the lens of how much you could earn and how little you dared to ask for. But let this be spoken now into the quiet part of you that still holds breath when the mail comes. The bill is not the burden. The belief is. The belief that says you're behind. The belief that says you're bad with money. The belief that says you always mess this up. The belief that says God helps everyone but you. You don't pay from your wallet. You pay from your wound. And that's where the heaviness lives. You open the envelope, but it opens a portal to a childhood of we can't afford that. To a dinner table of nervous silence when rent was due. To a mother who did her best, but carried worry like a second skin. And now you carry it too. But I want you to hear this like it's being whispered by God. You are not the worry. You are not the pattern. You are not the survival cycle repeating. You are the one who speaks the stop. You are the one heaven trusts to rewrite the reaction. That bill in your hand has no voice. But your inner child, she still remembers how it used to feel. To be too much. To ask too big. To watch stress paint shadows under your mother's eyes. To feel like your very need was a burden. And so now, even as a grown woman, you approach your own money with the tremble of old fear. But I am here to remind you, you are not paying for the past anymore. You are not paying from the guilt. You are circulating through grace. This is not survival. This is sacred flow. Say it slowly, and let your nervous system hear you. I no longer spend from shame. I circulate from truth. The numbers do not define your worth. The due dates do not declare your destiny. The amount does not tell the whole story. 'Cause the story is shifting now. What if the bill was not a burden, but an opportunity to bless the flow? What if instead of flinching, you paused, you breathed, you whispered into the energy, "Thank you. I remember I am supplied." The bill is not punishment. The bill is proof you are participating in circulation. And from this moment on, you do not pay. You pour. You pour trust. You pour truth. You pour knowing. You pour the I am into the line item. Say this now. I circulate with grace. I declare divine wealth. I speak the truth that lack is a lie. The heaviness was never yours. It was inherited. It was learned. It was encoded. But it can be rewritten. Subconscious reprogramming begins with what you say. As you hold the very thing that used to scare you, don't just touch the bill. Touch your belief. Touch the story. Touch the fear. Touch the ancient vow you made when you were too young to name it. The one that whispered, "I'll never be safe with money." The one that swore, "Rich people won't love me." The one that promised, "If I stay small, I'll stay safe." Break that vow now. Speak this out loud. I am safe in overflow. I am safe in having more than enough. I am safe in being seen as rich in spirit and supply. This is how you pay differently. Not from the number, but from the knowing. Not from the pressure, but from the promise. Heaven already decided. You are not the exception. You are not forgotten. You are not left behind. You are being returned to the version of you that remembers she is allowed. Allowed to receive. Allowed to circulate. Allowed to see money as holy and not heavy. And if the tears are rising now, let them fall. They are not weakness. They are release. They are your soul remembering its power. If this freed your money memory, type this in the comments now. The bill is not the burden. Say it again to yourself gently, again and again, until the belief begins to move. The bill is not the burden. The belief is. And the belief is shifting. Let this be your ritual. Hold the bill. Bless it. Breathe. Speak. Say, this is not pressure, this is proof. Proof that you are alive. Proof that you are trusted to circulate. Proof that you are ready to pour love into paper. You are the breaker of cycles. You are the healer of lineages. You are the truth walking into a space that once only knew trauma. And the more you speak this way, the less heavy it feels. Not because the number changed, but because you did. You became the voice that no longer spends from shame. You became the woman who pays with peace. You became the vessel through which divine wealth flows. Your wallet is no longer a battlefield. It is an altar. And your spoken truth is the incense that rises. Say this one more time. I no longer spend from shame. I circulate from truth. And as you say it, feel the difference. Feel the softening. Feel the trust return to your touch. This is how supply remembers you. This is how overflow begins again. Not by hustle, but by holy reprogramming. The bill is not the burden. It is just paper. You are prophecy. And you just remembered who you are. You were never meant to spend in silence. Your hand was not made to tremble. Your breath was not made to tighten. Before you gave, before you paid, before you offered the world a piece of your energy disguised as money, there is a sacred moment that most forget. A split second before exchange. A breath before the bill. A whisper before the wallet opens. And in that space, a new world waits to be spoken. Before you ever hand over the card. Before your fingers press send on a payment. Before you watch your balance shift on a screen. There is something older than transaction that wants to speak through you. You are not spending. You are sending. You are not releasing. You are remembering. You are not giving it away. You are commanding what will return. Say this. As I release, I receive in divine overflow. Let your mouth get used to those words. Let your tongue remember the taste of trust. Let your nervous system memorize the rhythm of provision without panic. This is not about being responsible. This is about being remembered. Because every time you give, you are not losing. You are not diminishing. You are not leaking energy into the void. You are circulating. You are signaling. You are declaring that you live in a realm where what leaves must return, pressed down, shaken together, running over into your lap. But you must speak first, not out of fear, not to manifest faster, but because your voice prepares the ground. Your voice breaks the curse of unspoken giving. Your voice tells heaven you remember. You remember that the energy you send out was never about numbers. It was about knowing. And knowing is wealth. You remember that your supply doesn't start in your bank, starts in your belief, starts in your body, starts in your voice. Say this: as I release, I receive in divine overflow. Speak it again and again, until your cells believe it before your mind does. Until your hands tremble not with fear, but with reverence. You are not a powerless spender. You are a sacred sender. You are a woman of decree, a vessel of vibration, temple of circulation. What if you knew that every payment was prophetic, that every transaction was a testimony, that every spend could be a spell? If you let your words build the altar first. Say this: as I release, I receive in divine overflow. Before you touch another bill, place your hand over your heart and listen for what wants to return. 'Cause the moment you speak, you change the soil, you change the frequency, you open the floodgates to more than enough. God does not respond to panic. God responds to pattern. And the pattern is: declare, then receive. Speak, then circulate. Trust, then multiply. This is not magic. This is memory. This is what your grandmother didn't know she could say. This is what your mother never felt safe to believe. This is what your bloodline has waited to hear from your lips. As I release, I receive in divine overflow. Say it for the woman you used to be, who counted every dollar with clenched fists, who gave in fear and waited in silence. Say it for her. She is watching you, remember. Say it for the girl who thought money was punishment. Say it for the version of you who held her breath every time she swiped her card. Say it for the lineage that sowed in survival. Say it for the future you who now lives in trust. Say it until the air around your wallet shifts. Say it until the receipt becomes a receipt of prophecy. Say it until overflow becomes familiar. As I release, I receive in divine overflow. What if this was your new habit? What if before every spend, you didn't ask, "Can I afford this?" but declared, "I already live in wealth"? What if you knew the atmosphere was already listening for your truth? That your wallet was not a container, but a conversation. It's not about what you give. It's about what you declare when you give it. It's not about how much. It's about who you are when you release it. And who you are is supply. Who you are is overflow. Who you are is the current itself. Say this again as if heaven is leaning in. As I release, I receive in divine overflow. And now, listen. Feel the space around you shift. Feel your breath lengthen. Feel the tension leave your fingertips. You're not emptying anything. You're expanding everything. Your spend is not subtraction. It's multiplication in motion. And the only thing it needed was your spoken yes. Say it now, for the last time in this sacred moment. As I release, I receive in divine overflow. And if you'll speak this before every spend, if you'll pause before you pay, if you'll let your mouth go first, type this in the comments now. With your full body yes. It returns multiplied. Your wallet remembers. Not the receipts. Not the numbers. Not the loose change or the expired cards tucked in the back. It remembers vibration. It remembers the tone you carried when you opened it. The energy you breathed into it when you felt afraid. The heaviness in your hands when you said, "There's never enough." Your wallet has heard every word you've ever spoken about supply. And it listened like a child. Every "I can't afford it." Every "I'm broke." Every "this is too much." Stored them. Not as punishment, but as programming. Because your wallet is not leather. It is not cloth. It is not just a vessel for paper and plastic. It is an echo chamber of your belief, a reflection of your nervous system, a sacred container for your relationship with receiving. And every time you touch it, every time you unzip it, you are not just accessing money. You are accessing memory. Feel that. You are not broke. You are bound by what you once believed. But not anymore. Today you speak something new. Today your wallet becomes holy. Not because it holds cash, but because it holds your new decree. Say this. My wallet holds memory, and I now speak wealth into its bones. Yes, its bones. Because everything you carry close to your body absorbs your body's knowing. Your wallet has sat beside your heartbeat, beneath your breath, inside your bag, pressed against your hip, feeling everything you've ever feared, and never said out loud. But now you say it. Now you say it before you open it. Now you say it like a cleansing. Now you say it like a baptism of truth. Say it softly. Say it boldly. Say it until your wallet forgets the lie. That it was ever empty. My wallet holds memory, and I now speak wealth into its bones. And if your voice is shaky, let it be. Even trembling truth rewrites reality. You're not just holding a wallet. You are holding a witness. To every moment you gave in guilt. To every time you spent in survival. To every time you paid with panic. Or tithed with tension. Or saved with shame. Let that memory rise. Not to hurt you, but to release you. Because now your voice holds a different sound. Your sound is supply. Your tone is truth. Your declaration is destiny. This is not about money. This is about memory. This is not about budgeting. This is about blessing. This is not about being responsible. This is about being remembered. You were always the wealthy one. You were always the source. You were always the word, waiting to be spoken. And now you speak. Say this. My wallet holds memory, and I now speak wealth into its bones. Feel what happens in your body when you say it. Feel the soft loosening in your chest. Feel the release in your shoulders. Feel the wallet begin to breathe again. You are no longer the woman who fears what she holds. You are the woman who commands what she carries. You are no longer the girl who whispers lack into her belongings. You are the woman who sings prosperity into her purse. You are no longer silent. Your voice leads now. And your wallet, it follows. What if it was never about what's inside your wallet, but what's inside your words? What if the moment you speak wealth, your money remembers how to return to you? What if the shift doesn't start with a paycheck, but with a promise? What if God was not waiting for your income to rise, but for your identity to speak? Say it again as a sacred vow. My wallet holds memory, and I now speak wealth into its bones. And every time you touch it like it's sacred. Touch it like it's a temple. Touch it like it holds the whispers of angels and the dreams of generations that never knew they could speak this freely. Because you are not just healing your finances. You are healing your frequency. You are not just replacing a thought. You are replacing a lineage of lack with the lineage of the I am. You are rewriting what your wallet knows. You are telling it the truth. It was waiting to hear for lifetimes. And if your soul feels it, if something inside you just sighed with relief, if you feel your cells reorganizing around this remembrance, then type this now. As your public declaration, as your digital decree, as the vibration your money will echo back to you. My wallet knows who I am. And so it is. You have never asked for too much. You have only ever been asked to forget how much was already yours. Before you were born, the amount was written. Before you could speak, your inheritance whispered through the wind. Before your voice was ever silenced by shame, heaven had already said yes. Yes to overflow. Yes to beauty. Yes to divine excess. Yes to the kind of abundance that doesn't apologize for existing. And yet, they taught you to shrink, to settle, to measure your worth by coupons and clearance racks, instead of by cosmic decree. They said, don't be greedy. But your spirit said, I was born for plenty. They said, that's too much. But your soul remembered Eden. They said, be grateful for what you have. But heaven whispered, I gave you more than you've ever dared to hold. You were not meant to manage crumbs. You were meant to command supply. Say this now. I spend as one already approved by heaven. Let your nervous system hear it. Let every cell that once carried guilt release its grip. You are not the version of you who had to justify wanting more. You are not the child who was told that lack was noble. You are not the woman who apologizes for the fullness of her becoming. You are the one who remembers. And this is what you remember. There is no price too high. For the one already approved. There is no shame in the spend. When the Spirit is your source. There is no guilt in the desire. When the desire came from God. God already said yes. Say that again. With your breath as the proof. God already said yes. Yes to the number on the bill. Yes to the dream that seems unreasonable. Yes to the life that doesn't make sense. To anyone still worshipping survival. You were never meant to budget your worth. You were meant to embody your divinity. 'Cause here is the truth. They didn't teach you in school, in church, in society. Approval does not come after the spending. Comes before the thought. Comes as your birthright. It comes sealed in the name I am. And if God already approved the amount, who are you waiting for? Whose permission are you still seeking? Whose face still lingers in your mind? When you walk toward overflow, is it your mother's tight mouth when she checked the price tag? Your father's silence when you asked for what you needed? A teacher who praised you for settling? A partner who mistook your fullness for ego? It's time to return them. Return their voices. Return their fear. Return their modesty masked as virtue. Because the you that is rising was never meant to be manageable. You were never too much. You were the multiplied kind. The overflow frequency. The walking yes. And when you touch the bill. When your fingers meet the number. When your wallet opens like a prayer. You no longer ask if it's allowed. You declare. It is done. It is given. It is mine. It is sacred. Because heaven never hesitated. Heaven didn't flinch. Heaven didn't bargain. Only the programming taught you to fear the number. Only the conditioning made you tremble. But the truth says, this amount was seen. This moment was known. This bill is not a burden. It is a mirror. And the reflection is divine. So bless the amount. Bless the transaction. Bless the spend. Bless it as if it's holy. 'Cause it is. You're not releasing money. You are releasing remembrance. And every time you spend, you say aloud what the soul has always carried. I spend as one already approved by heaven. And the universe echoes. Yes, you do. Yes, you are. Yes, it's yours. Say this now as if your lineage depends on it. Because it does. God already said yes. Not someday. Not when you earn more. Not when you become better. Not when your debt is gone. But now. Here. In this breath. In this balance. In this body. You are not waiting for worthiness. You are walking in it. You are not hoping to deserve. You are declaring it already done. And if this truth has stirred something ancient, if something in your belly just breathed easier, if something in your chest cracked open and whispered, finally, then say it with your fingers. Say it with your voice. Say it in the comments. For every woman who still questions her enoughness, type it now. God already said yes. And every time you touch a bill, remember this. You're not just paying for something. You're practicing prophecy. You're circulating the truth. You're confirming the yes. And you don't owe anyone an explanation. For your overflow, you just owe yourself the permission to believe in what was already approved. And so it is. You are not poor. Your body was just trained to expect danger in every dollar. Your nervous system memorized survival. Not because you were broken, but because you were taught to flinch at your own enough. You are not afraid of spending. You are afraid of being without support. You are not resisting abundance. You are simply holding your breath. But listen, your breath is the portal now. Not your thoughts, not your affirmations, not your bank balance. Your breath. Let it soften. Let it widen. Let it melt across your ribcage like oil. Because wealth is not an idea. Wealth is a regulation, a rhythm, a resting state of the woman who knows she is held. Say this with me. My body is safe in abundance. My breath is the portal. You don't have to earn your safety. You don't have to wait for the balance to rise before your shoulders can drop. You don't have to panic when the card leaves your hand. Because heaven already decided. You are remembered. You are returned to. You are resourced. And if your body forgot, if it still tightens at the checkout counter, if it still trembles when you pay the bill, if it still contracts when you open your wallet, then this is the sacred moment you remember. You hold wealth in your nervous system, not in the currency, not in the client, not in the paycheck, in your spine, in your chest, in your sacred lungs. You no longer flinch. You no longer brace. You no longer live in the posture of panic. You live in the posture of prophecy, poise, power. You spend as a woman who knows the money is already returning. You release as a woman who knows supply is spiritual. You circulate as a woman who knows she is already replenished. Let your body hear that again. You are already replenished. Not after. Not once the bill clears. But in this breath. This holy exhale. This nervous system returning to God. What if your body wasn't created to panic? What if your pulse was never meant to race in fear? What if the trembling wasn't yours? Who taught your bones to fear wealth? Who taught your shoulders that abundance was a threat? What religion told your body that overflow was prideful? What culture praised you for flinching and called it humble? It is time to release it. The woman you are becoming doesn't just believe in abundance. She embodies it. She breathes it. She blesses the bills as they leave, and smiles as they multiply in return. Her hands are soft. Her face is still. Her breath is not interrupted by invoices or receipts. She is not afraid of the out, because she is in covenant with the in. Say this now. I hold wealth in my nervous system. Say it until your shoulders lower. Say it until your jaw unclenches. Say it until your stomach relaxes and your heart opens like a vault. You are no longer surviving. You are receiving. You are no longer reacting. You are remembering. You are no longer chasing safety. You are returning to it. Say it again, slowly, as if your spine needs to hear every syllable. My body is safe in abundance. Let your nervous system rewrite its script. No more cortisol for groceries. No more panic for purchases. No more adrenaline for asking what you're worth. You are not a warrior anymore. You are a woman of wealth. And you hold it, in your posture, in your pause, in your inhale, in your sacred exhale that says, I trust the rhythm of release and return. Because the truth, money listens to your body more than your bank. It hears your flinch. It hears your breath. It hears whether your spine trusts the source or fears the outcome. And now it hears your remembering. That's why money is softening around you. That's why opportunity is approaching. That's why overflow is unfolding. Not because you demanded it, but because you regulated for it. You are the fertile ground. You are the vessel. You are the womb of wealth. And your nervous system. It is the altar now. The divine signal that says, it is safe to return to me. Say this in your next transaction. Say this at the counter. Say this as you tap your card or press send. As I release, I receive in divine overflow. Feel the breath behind it. Feel the trust in your belly. Feel the shoulders that stay open. Even when the number leaves your hand. You are not leaking. You are flowing. You are not losing. You are circulating. You are not afraid anymore. You are anointed. And if this truth landed in your body, if your breath just deepened, if your chest just loosened, if your shoulders just dropped like a prayer, Then say it where the world can see. Type it now. I hold wealth in my nervous system. And every time you feel that flinch return, breathe, bliss. Remember, you are the rich woman. Not because of what you own, but because of what your body now knows. You are safe. You are supported. You are supplied. And so it is. What if money is not gone, but simply in flight? What if every dollar that left your hand was not a loss, but a promise? What if giving was not disappearance, but declaration? You have not been spending. You have been circulating. There is a holy difference. Spending says, I hope this lasts. Circulating says, I know it returns. Spending trembles. Circulating trusts. You were never meant to shrink in fear. As the transaction processed, you were never meant to bow before the illusion of lack. You are not here to wonder if the money will come back. You are here to command its return. Say this softly now, as your spirit receives. I circulate in trust. It always returns fulfilled. This is the truth that rewires your bones. You were never broke. You were just afraid to trust your own overflow. But hear this now, and let it settle. Money is not the source. You are. You are the divine channel through which supply flows. You are the river. You are the release. You are the return. Say it again. I circulate in trust. It always returns fulfilled. Every time you give, you do not lose. You prophesy. Every time you pay, you are not depleted. You are declaring circulation. You are not letting go. You are letting forward. You are not spending into scarcity. You are sowing into prophecy. This is not a payment. This is a petition. A sacred signature that says, I trust the rhythm of divine wealth. And this rhythm has never failed you. Even when you thought you lost, you were learning how to hold. Even when you thought it vanished, it was simply growing roots. Under your spiritual soil, the universe has never missed a return. It only waits for your nervous system to trust the law. And here it is, spoken aloud. Circulation is the language of trust. Let this truth settle in your bloodstream. Your ancestors may have taught you to fear the spend, to fear the lack, to grip every coin as if the sky would close if it left your hand. But that was never God's law. That was trauma's law. That was survival's law. You are no longer surviving. You are receiving. You are releasing. You are rising. And every spend now becomes a seed. Not a sacrifice. Not a shortage. Not a scar. Seed. A coded message that says, I trust you. I trust me. I trust the return. The divine record does not forget what you circulate. Multiplies it. Blesses it. It reconfigures it. To return in forms beyond what your mind can imagine. So say it again. Not from logic but from lineage. I circulate in trust. It always returns fulfilled. Feel your body receive it. Let your stomach unclench. Let your palms open. You don't have to grip anymore. You don't have to brace. You don't have to fear what leaves. Because it leaves with instructions. It leaves with a whisper of return. It leaves carrying your belief. And it finds its way back carrying proof. You are not punished for generosity. You are crowned by it. You are not emptied by your giving. You are filled with the knowing that your source is spiritual. And spiritual supply does not deplete. Circulates. It recreates. It expands. This is where your identity shifts. This is where your old money memory gets rewritten. This is the moment your body no longer reacts, as if circulation is unsafe. Because now it remembers. You are the rhythm. You are the return. You are the prophecy in motion. Say this aloud, and let the declaration clear the shame. I am no longer surviving. I circulate as one who trusts the source. You are not afraid of the number anymore. 'Cause you know, it was never about the number. It was about your breath, your belief, your body's ability to release without shaking. And if something inside you just softened, if something just exhaled for the first time in years, if something just whispered, I'm finally safe to give, Then speak this into the ether. Type it below. Circulation is safe. Let your fingers write what your lineage never knew. Giving is not dangerous. Generosity is not depletion. Release is not loss. It is wealth remembering itself through motion. You are a temple of divine movement. You are a current. You are a holy channel. And the energy you send forth knows exactly how to come home to you. With more. With favor. With divine interest. You are not waiting anymore. You are declaring. You are no longer wondering. You are remembering. Say it one more time. This time as the woman who no longer begs the bill to be gentle. I circulate in trust. It always returns fulfilled. And so it does. And so it always has. And so it is. You do not wait to see the miracle before you speak it. You do not wait to touch the blessing before you call it by name. You are not here to earn it. You are here to decree it. You don't speak because you have it. You speak because you are it. This is not performance. This is prophecy. You are not chasing wealth. You are commanding it by your frequency. Every word you speak is an energetic gate. Every phrase is a royal invitation. Every sound is a key that unlocks unseen doors. Your decree goes before you and makes the way. Say it now, slowly, fully, with authority. My decree goes before me and makes the way. You are not begging the universe. You are reminding it. You are not hoping. You are hosting. You are the vessel. You are the voice. You are the vibration that moves what once seemed still. And when your voice aligns with who heaven says you are, nothing can delay its arrival. Money doesn't respond to hustle. It responds to harmony. It doesn't obey the mind that doubts. It obeys the decree that knows. And you know that you are divine supply in human skin. You know that you are not a request. You are a realization. So speak as the one who is already remembered. Speak as the one who carries authority in their silence. And resurrection in their sound. You are not speaking to lack. You are speaking over it. You are not speaking to the absence. You are activating the return. Say it aloud now. It hears my voice and comes. Again. Slower. Deeper. Older. It hears my voice and comes. You are not hoping it shows up. You are aligning with the timeline that already has it. Your voice is not decoration. It is direction. It doesn't ask the universe to choose you. It reminds the universe that heaven already did. You don't manifest by manipulation. You manifest by memory. And your memory is sacred. You remember that abundance is not earned. It's embodied. You remember that divine wealth doesn't respond to panic. It responds to peace. You remember that the power was never in the numbers. It was in the name you spoke before the numbers ever came. Say it again. My decree goes before me and makes the way. This is the sacred reversal. You do not declare after you receive. You declare before, because your spirit already holds the receipt. You already touched it in the unseen. You already became it in the silence. You already knew it in the stillness between thoughts. Now it must come. Now it must follow. This is spiritual law. This is identity physics. The vibration of the I am is the signal that summons your supply. No force, no fear, no frantic proving. Just the holy sound of certainty. Just the still voice of a woman who knows. If I speak it, it returns. If I declare it, it obeys. If I call it, it comes. You are not here to earn. You are here to echo. You are the echo of heaven's yes. You are the reflection of divine permission. You are the sound wave of sacred inheritance. Speak as one who has been chosen. Speak as one who never needed to be approved. Speak as one who remembers that their voice is the first currency. Say this out loud. I no longer whisper in fear. I decree in truth. And let the money hear you now. Let every dollar, every transaction, every energy of supply turn toward your voice. Let the magnetic law of divine alignment awaken as you speak. This is no longer about receiving. This is about returning to the vibration that you never lost, only forgot. Say this with reverence. It hears my voice and comes. And if your spirit feels the remembering, If something inside you just stood taller. If your breath just deepened like it recognized itself. Then type it in the space below, like a written prayer. It hears my voice and comes. This is the moment the old story ends. The story of waiting. The story of begging. The story of hoping someone else would approve your worth. It's over. You are the approval. You are the invitation. You are the inheritance made flesh. Every word you speak is a spiritual GPS. Does not get lost. Does not wander. It carries instructions. And heaven fulfills the order. Say this now and mean it more than ever. My decree goes before me and makes the way. You are not wondering if it's coming. You are watching it arrive. You are not repeating empty affirmations. You are announcing your reality before it takes form. This is the holy art of becoming. This is spoken reality. This is divine wealth remembering its direction. You are not new to this. You are ancient. You are sacred. You are the original decree. So stand in the spirit. Say it again. With your full breath, with your full being, with your full knowing. It hears my voice and comes. It hears my voice and comes. It hears my voice and comes. And so it does. And so it cannot stay away. And so it is. You do not handle money anymore. You bless it. You do not rush past the transaction. You anoint it. You do not flinch at the number. You baptize it with remembrance. This is no longer an exchange. This is a return to sacred rhythm. The old ways of lack, of fear, of shrinking at the point of release. They end now. You were never created to survive. You were created to circulate. You were never meant to cling. You were born to command. And so this becomes the ritual. The holy moment between your palm and the paper. The breath you take before the card slides forward. The sacred hush before you say yes to the offering, the bill, the giving. Breathe. Remember who you are. And say this softly, like a vow to your own soul. Every transaction is a blessing, and I am its source. This is the wealth ritual your ancestors waited for. Not performance but power. Not scarcity but sacredness. The money in your hand is no longer silent. It remembers your decree. Carries your frequency. It obeys your identity. You do not fear its exit. You bless its journey. You do not doubt its return. You decree its multiplication. This is the moment your nervous system rests in abundance. This is the altar you build in the space between thought and spend. You touch money like it's scripture. You hold it like it's memory. You speak to it like it has ears because it does. Money listens to frequency. It obeys wholeness. It returns to remembrance. So when you speak, don't just repeat what you were told. Declare what you now know. Say this with holy certainty. Overflow is now my rhythm. Let this become more than an affirmation. Let it become your identity. Let every purchase be a prayer. Let every receipt be a reminder. Let every number carry your knowing. You do not earn the right to overflow. You remember that you always had it. You were never forgotten. You were never left behind. You were never abandoned to figure it out alone. Heaven already decided. The supply was spiritual before it became physical. The wealth was divine before it touched the bank. And now you return to your role. The one who blesses before she receives. The one who touches money like prophecy. The one who no longer doubts if she's allowed to thrive. You are the gate. You are the flow. You are the rhythm of divine wealth in motion. And this moment, this small, quiet, sacred moment, where you open your wallet, where you speak before you spend, where you breathe before you buy, becomes holy. This is not ritual for ritual's sake. This is remembrance. That what you touch returns. That what you speak stays faithful. That what you give knows where to come home. Say this aloud now. Let your voice be steady. Every transaction is a blessing, and I am its source. Your voice is not begging. It is blessing. Your hand is not releasing out of fear. It is sending with trust. This is the new economy of heaven. This is truth over trauma. This is you no longer surviving. This is you commanding divine wealth. Without apology, without hesitation, without guilt. Let your body receive this. Let your breath hold it. Say it again. Overflow is now my rhythm. You don't just buy the item. You bless the energy. You don't just pay the bill. You pour prophetic memory into every line. You don't just give. You generate. You don't just receive. You recognize that every arrival is a mirror of your decree. You are not separate from the blessing. You are the blessing remembering itself. You are not hoping to be chosen. You are choosing to be who God already declared you are. You are the one the overflow remembers. You are the one the money returns to. You are the one the supply bows for. So let this moment seal the shift. Let this be more than a message. Let this be your marking. If you feel it in your chest, if your breath just softened, if something within you whispered, "Yes, this is me now," then type this in the space below. Not for others to see, but as a decree for heaven to echo. Overflow is now my rhythm, because the old rhythm is done. The rhythm of scrambling, the rhythm of scarcity, the rhythm of surviving just to make it one more day. Buried, rewritten, rebirthed, and in its place this sacred cadence, this holy stillness, this slow, soft, sovereign sound of a woman who remembers. She doesn't just hold money. She holds identity. She doesn't just repeat affirmations. She speaks as the living word. She doesn't just hope for more. She is more. She is the abundance. She is the ritual. She is the rhythm. Say it once more, this time as your I am decree. Every transaction is a blessing, and I am its source. And so it becomes the way. And so it rewrites what you thought wealth had to be. And so it multiplies not by chance but by choice. In choice, you chose truth. You chose softness. You chose to release shame. You chose to remember. And because you remembered, it must return. Multiplied, magnified, marked by your voice. This is the new ritual. And it begins now. And so it is. And so it must be.